Wednesday webinar series right here. My name again is Brian Koss. I'm joined by my friend and business partner, Sean Casey. On this call right here, we have some new stuff for you. It will be all on researching and creating mini sites, as well as a Q&A after that as well. So there's a lot of you that I've seen were like looking for more info on how to research a new niche and how to create small sites, or how to know what sites to jump into, and stuff like that. So this call is kind of geared towards you. Regardless if you have an existing business or not, or regardless if you're brand new, you can use the concepts learned here and help apply it to your business. So we'll get going in just a bit on what that all will entail and whatnot. But as always, again, I just want to welcome you all to, again, the Webfire Wednesday webinar. And as always, it's every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, where we'll have live training and or a Q&A call or a combo of those for our Webfire members. So if this is your first one on, welcome. If this is your 30th one, welcome back. And again, we hope to see as many of you as possible every Wednesday. So as always, these will either feature myself, Brian Koss, Sean Casey, both of us at once, or occasionally a featured special guest if we think that their expertise would be of value to our members. And we actually have a special guest lined up in like 2 or 3 weeks or so. We're trying to work out the exact date where they'll kind of share a cool way to kind of like make money off of essentially Amazon and a couple other things, even without having to do a lot of ranking stuff and whatnot there. So some pretty cool stuff that we'll line that up and share with you once we have that officially finalized. So if you're here or registered for this series, you'll get a reminder each week so you don't forget. But if you can't make one, we'll also be sure to have the recordings up in the members area, as well as the slides, usually within about a day or so of any of the calls, and they'll be under the training tab on the left side navigation bar under the Webfire Wednesday calls. So you'll see all those listed out right there, and you'll also see the topic of all those calls too. So if there's past trainings and stuff that you want to take advantage of, feel free to watch all those, because there's a ton of training in there. I mean, tons and tons and tons. You can also use these calls as an opportunity to get even more training, ask strategy type questions, get feedback, or make suggestions on what else you'd like to get trained on, or what else you'd like to see. And as a special note, as always, make sure to check the prior Webfire Wednesday webinars and the other Webfire trainings, as there's a lot of info in there already. And oftentimes, some of you ask for stuff that's been covered a lot, in the past. So make sure to glance through those titles and topics and stuff, and see if there's anything of interest to you, because I guarantee there's probably quite a bit there. So now we'll, as always, go over the Webfire member rules to success. And these are, again, really important, which is why I tend to repeat these on a lot of these calls here, because step one is follow the steps and the trainings that we have. Do that first and foremost. Second, don't give up. And that means, seek help when needed, but don't get too dependent. If there's a quick question that a quick Google search will basically solve, do that first. Don't let yourself get held up on small stuff. Like if you don't know what a certain word means or anything like that, Google can help solve that in like seconds. But at the same time, if you're like completely stuck and don't know what to do, and you don't think you can find out an answer real quick, feel free to help, or feel free to ask us, and our support is always happy to help you with that. And third, no whining or negative attitudes, because we think that's really the quickest way to fail. If you have a negative attitude, if you're looking to be down about stuff, you'll always be down about stuff. You'll always find an excuse to fail or not move forward, and that's just not a good way, to go about business and such. Now, really brief before we go on to the training, I have a couple quick questions for you guys based upon some questions I asked last week. So these are just follow-up questions, and I'll ask you to just type in a relevant answer in the chat box. This will kind of help us help you and all that. question 1. So last week we asked the question if some of you would be interested in an exclusive mastermind in a tropical location. And there were more of you that said you would be than we thought. So the follow-up question that I want to basically ask is how many of you would be interested in an exclusive mastermind group in a tropical location where it'd be geared towards those that either had an existing business or had a skill set that could be turned into one, or were very big action takers. How many would be interested in that? If it was all-inclusive, minus the flight, of course, which you'd have to pay for the flight, and if it was in the 5 to 8K range. So type in 1 if it's definitely or most likely interested if the times work out. Type in 2 if your answer is maybe, or 3 if no. This isn't legally binding or anything like that. We're just trying to see what the interest rate would be. And the idea behind these kinds of masterminds is that it helps grow everyone's business at the same time. If there's hurdles that you have, the entire goal is to solve that to get over the next hurdle. So anything that is holding you back would be solved right then, as well as getting the latest and the greatest tips and suggestions and stuff to move specifically your own business forward. So not just general training, but specifically on your business right there. So again, I'll give you maybe 10 more seconds to type in 1, 2, or 3. All right. All right, cool, guys. Question 2, and this is the last one. Last week we asked you which of 4 tools were the most appealing to you. So we had four options. So this week we picked the top 2 answers from last week, which was almost a tie, and wanted to ask you which of these 2 sound the most appealing to you. So type in 4 if it's a tool that automatically helps monetize your websites and even allows you to profit off of essentially junk traffic that doesn't buy or do anything on your site. Or type in 5 if you'd rather would have a tool that lets you secretly make money in a stealthy way just by promoting free content. So you don't have to do any hardcore pitches or anything like that. You just give away content, and there's a stealthy way where you're paid on the back end. Or again, type in 4 if you want a tool that helps you automatically monetize websites even off of what a lot of people would say might be junk traffic, even though traffic usually doesn't buy anything. So type in 4 or 5 based upon which one you'd rather have there. All right. All right, see there's a few of you saying both. All right. All right, so it looks like a lot of answers right there, and Sean, Sean and Sharon, I'll let you keep officially track of that so we can look at that later right there. So, all right, guys, well, thanks for your time on that right there. That'll help us kind of gear our stuff a bit more towards what you guys want. So now we can move on to our training with how to research and make mini sites using WebFire. Now, of course, you can make these outside of WebFire with the exact same concepts, but I'll kind of basically talk about how a lot of the tools and stuff can help make that job easier for you as well with that. So first, don't underestimate the power or the simplicity of these, because this is the exact equation basically, or the formula that we have members using to get these sites ranked and make money off of. In fact, I know of one gal that we talked about in the past, Judy. All her and her husband essentially do or I shouldn't say all that they do, but all that they do in this case right here is they make these mini affiliate sites that they just rank and don't do a ton of work for or on after they make them, and they do really well off that. I think last I checked with them, they were doing about $1,000 a day or so, and that's pretty big considering that these are very easy things to actually make, and you can go through the entire process in really, if you're writing all the content yourself and doing everything, maybe like a couple hours. If you get the content elsewhere, you can do everything yourself in like, a half hour or less per site. So again, very easy to make these right there. And it's something that whether you have an existing business or not, you can do in either case. So make sure to pay special attention here. So first, what is the purpose of a mini site? Well, the purpose is really to get extra rankings, to get more exposure for your products or services, or to get affiliate sites or reviews out there to make money either off of affiliate commissions or off of AdSense. You can also create them for local businesses to rank and then either sell or rent them off to those guys right there. There's a lot of money in that too. Or it can also just be used to start new little businesses inside niches as well. So they can be used for all of those things. Now, a couple of you might be asking right now, well, what exactly is a mini site? Well, it's usually a site geared towards a small specific niche or sub-niche. Typically, they're around 5 pages or so, but again, they can be more or less. So don't think it has to be exactly 5 pages just because I use that as an example. I've even had sites rank with only like 1 or 2 pages, and I've had larger ones with lots of pages. But typically I try to think that you should shoot for about 5 to start with, just because it's not too high a number where you're overwhelmed, but it's not too low where it looks like a junk site or anything like that to Google, especially if you follow what we say and have actually good content and stuff. And they're not usually meant to necessarily get a ton of traffic, but they're meant to get very targeted traffic, and that's the key right there. Because again, these aren't meant to get like millions and millions and millions of hits. Now, it's not to say that you can't get a lot of traffic. It's just to say that your goal is to take advantage of like either specific niches or sub niches that get a decent amount of traffic, but not necessarily a ton. And that's actually a good thing. I'll share with you a bit more of why. And you also don't have to always update them constantly with new content. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't. So most of the mini sites out there, oftentimes it might be like a 5-page site that you make once and then don't do anything else too. Now, it's not to say that you can't make this like a blog and you can't do like blog posts each week or each month or anything like that. That's up to you. And of course, the more content you have out there, the more chances you have of ranking for more stuff. But typically with like a mini site, it tends to be just like five or so pages, and you let those be and kind of rank on their own. And a lot of times they're very set and forget with that as well, which is a cool thing because again, everyone likes to be able to spend like a little time to make some stuff and then kind of like set and forget it, right? That's kind of what the whole purpose of these are. So they can also be made in almost any platform that you want. Doesn't matter if it's Blogger, WordPress, a standard HTML site. Now, Blogger.com is owned by Google, and they'll actually host sites for you for free. They'll also give you like a free subdomain, like basically anything.blogspot.com. However, for the strategy that I'm about to share with you, it's to your advantage to have a domain name, which again, you can get those usually for like, I think the standard price on most is like $7 to $10 a year. Occasionally there might be deals where they're like less than that. Occasionally there might be a handful of places that might charge a bit more, but most web hosts are in like the $7 to $10 per year range, including Blogger.com. They also allow you to buy domains through them too, and I think they charge like $10 a year. I'm not quite sure offhand, but again, a very reasonable price, and in that case they host it for free too. But again, doesn't matter what the platform is, doesn't matter if it's WordPress, Blogger, or standard HTML site, don't overthink that too much. My rule of thumb is, if you're brand new and anything tech related kind of scares you, Blogger is probably the way to go in that case, just because it's super easy. Google makes it very, very hands-free, and you don't really have to think too much. Whereas if you're maybe a bit more advanced or you're not afraid, more of the tech stuff, WordPress can be a decent option because there's like a lot of plugins there, and there's even a web Fire plugin that you can use and stuff there. And if you're even more advanced or just want to do like a standard HTML site, that's a perfect option too. And each one, there's pros and cons, but don't overthink it. Just go with whichever one you think you're most comfortable with. And if you really don't know, just toss a coin. Although I suppose you probably don't have a three-sided coin, yeah, just pick a random number then. But as long as you have access to basically edit the title tags and the content and the images and have your own domain and so forth, you're fine. So again, regardless of the site that you have, just make sure that you have access to basically edit all that stuff. Occasionally there's guys that join programs where they'll get like a site but they don't have access to change anything, or they can't change around title tags or content and stuff like that. And if you can't change anything, then there's really not a ton that you can do with that in this case. But the good news is there's tons of free options, and there's lots of hosts out there that are like $5 a month or so that are perfectly perfect for this right here. And I think that's like very poor use of grammar to say perfectly perfect, but I just said it. So moving on to steps to creating a mini site. And again, don't overthink the simplicity of this because it's meant to be simple, guys, and that's a very good thing. So step one, do keyword research using the main keyword tool inside of WebFire with any basic niche idea that you have. And I'll show off an example of this after I go through all the steps. So I'll explain the steps first, and then I'll show off a couple of the steps inside of WebFire as well, even though it's pretty simplistic right here. So again, do keyword research using the main keyword tool in WebFire with any basic niche idea that you have. So if you say, hey, I really like health and fitness or weight loss, do a search for a term like that, like weight loss, health, fitness, anything like that, and the keyword tool will show you 50 related terms on top of that. And some of these might be directly related to it, some might be kind of like sub niches. And what you want to do is basically two things. One, go through the 50 other keyword results that you get with that tool. And if you spot any niches or keywords that are A, easy to rank for, B, seem to have at least some decent traffic, and C, seem to be for a keyword that's likely to have valuable visitors, that's a good match. And you should pick 5 or so of those keywords out of the 50. And you want to also make sure that the keywords are somewhat related and can be on the same site. So like if yours was weight loss, maybe there's a keyword that is like, I don't know, maybe there's like weight loss tips for seniors. And another keyword might be, weight loss tips for, children, or, some term like that. And if it seems, or, another one might be, smoothie recipes for weight loss. Pick, again, about 5 of those right there. And, it can be, again, you just want to basically make sure that the keywords are related a bit. So if they appear side by side, people wouldn't be like, whoa, this is a bit weird that, you have this side by side right there. And what you basically do is, the 5 keywords that you basically pick, your site can basically target, those 5 keywords on separate web pages or blog posts. So if you have a blog, every blog post that you do can be geared towards one of those 5 keywords. And I'll talk more about that in just a second here. After that, you can use the domain keyword tool. Or wait, first and foremost, going back a step, I just want to answer a question really quick right there. So, if you ask the question on, how do you know if the visitors to a keyword would be of value, I'd say use common sense with that. Like if it's a keyword, like let's say, let's say it was like smoothie recipes for weight loss. You know that's of value there. You know that the weight loss niche is a pretty big niche. Just like if you were in massage chairs and there was a keyword of like massage beds, let's say, and let's say that's a really expensive bed. You know that anyone looking up that term right there, if they're interested in possibly getting a massaging bed, that could be worth a lot of money. So obviously the traffic there would be worth a lot, even if it's not like thousands and thousands and thousands of hits. If it's for something of value that you can make money off of either as an affiliate or through AdSense, it's worthwhile to basically target that. Then after that, you use the domain keyword tool to find available domain names that contain those keywords or similar ones, or similar ones related to the niche that you're essentially now in. Now, you just need one. So this is not saying like of those 5 keywords that you have to have a domain name for each one. You want to have like one website on a specific topic, but then have at least like 5 related web pages that each target a different keyword. So again, like maybe your main website might be, and I'm not saying that this is available. Maybe your main website might be like weight loss tips for men, and maybe your 5 related keywords might be like weight loss tips for men, and another one might be smoothie recipes for weight loss. Another one might be exercises for weight loss. They're related, where if they all appeared on that site, it would seem relevant to not like the leap or anything. Now, the reason why exact match domains work really well on these mini sites is that Google seems to favor exact match domains, especially in like smaller sites. It's not to say that you can't rank like a larger site that's not exact match, because I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying if you have an exact match domain and you have relevant content to it, it's really setting up all these flags saying, hey, I'm relevant to what the search term is right here. Now, my personal preference is for .coms without dashes in them. So like instead of having like, a word dash another word dash another word .com, my preference is to have a .com without dashes first. If I don't see any good ones available, and usually there's at least some available, then you can use .orgs and .nets. And then if you don't see any good ones, and chances are you'll see a lot of good ones. A very close second would also be .coms with dashes, so on and so forth. So preference first and foremost is a .com without dashes, but you can also get .orgs, .nets, and also .coms with dashes, and other ones with dashes too. And of course, if you're also like local to like let's say a country that uses like .co.uk or .com.au or stuff like that, you can certainly apply those here as well. I'm just trying to speak on like a global basis. Or you can also optionally use the expired domain tool, but that's more of a rare chance that on a given day you'll find an exact match domain there. You'll find domains there, but it's more rare to find an exact match one there on any given day, but you can. So it's very cool when you basically do, because those can come with like a lot of existing traffic and backlinks and stuff like that. So it's really a win-win. But don't feel like you have to, because the system still works without that. It's just an added bonus if by chance you find one there. Then create the website using whatever platform you want, with each page targeting one of the 5 keywords, with, of course, good and useful content. So again, you have to have content of value that's relevant to the keyword that you're trying to basically target. So if you have a page entirely on smoothie recipes for weight loss, make damn sure that the content on that page is all about smoothies for weight loss, reads well, and is actually useful info that if you wouldn't be embarrassed if a person you knew read it. That's really the key, I think, is that if you have info that's actually of value, it tends to stick. When you have stuff that's not, it's harder to get guys to do essentially what you want then. You also want to make sure, of course, that, again, the domain is keyword rich, as well as the title tags of the website too. So, if one of the pages is on smoothie recipes for weight loss, make sure that either the title of the blog post or the title tag of the web page is, basically contains those key keywords in it. And if you have a 5-page website or blog, again, make sure that each title tag or each title of each of the blog posts contain one of the 5 keywords that you're trying to optimize for. And you want to use the keywords throughout the content on the relevant pages without overdoing it. And you want to have it flow naturally as well. We found that in the past, like a keyword density around 1% is pretty good. But I mean, that can vary depending upon the length of the article, and all that stuff. So my rule of thumb is just make it flow naturally. If you're overusing the term, it doesn't read well. It tends to look like you're just trying to rank. You don't care about the actual content, so don't go down that route there. Then you want to monetize those pages with either affiliate links with call to actions like, click here to get this or click here to save that, AdSense, opt-in forms, so on and so forth. And again, note that you can actually add these later if you want. So if you want to just do content to start with, you can do that, and then later if you want to add in AdSense or opt-in forms or affiliate links, that's fine. Just know that you have to actually monetize it to make money off of it. So if your goal is to only rank it first, that's fine. But obviously eventually you'll want some way to actually monetize it, unless your goal is just rent or sell those sites off, which is fine if so. Then after you have that site made and optimized, you want to submit your site using the Site Submitter tool and track the rankings on those exact web pages using the rank tracker to see what happens. Now, it's not like you'll instantly get ranked necessarily within minutes. Oftentimes this might take a few days or so, but if you track it using the rank tracker, every day or two, or maybe a week later, if you want to check that, it will show you what the actual rank is, so you don't have to keep actually checking that. Optionally, you can then also get a few backlinks to your specific web pages using any of the lead tools. And what I mean by that is, if you use like the real-time lead finder or the rank lead finder or anything like that, you can do a post or comment and kind of link back to specifically one of the web pages. So notice how I didn't say just link back to your website. I said link back to one of the web pages. So if you have a 5-page website, each web page is treated differently and has a chance to actually rank. So if you link to different web pages, make sure it's relevant to those, you have a even better chance to rank in there. And of course, optionally, you can also create a couple of videos for it that link to it as well as add graphics to it. And then of course you can optimize those with the proper keyword tags as well, even using WebFire. So it just gives you even more of a chance where, if you create, let's say a video, it's more of a chance to rank, in Google for that, as well as on your site, as well as on YouTube too. And if you add graphics, exact same thing. They're more likely to rank your site if it's a relevant graphic, and you can even get the graphics at times ranked too. So that's an optional thing, but it can really help you. And then of course just sit back and watch the rankings start to come. And then of course make sure that you monetize it. Now again, this isn't rocket science. It's not meant to be overly complex or anything like that. But if you follow through on this right here, I mean, if you don't write the content yourself, you could spend like maybe a half hour to like an hour tops. If you write the content yourself, sure, it might take you like 2 hours or so to write the content and make the page, or even 3 hours is okay. But if you do even like one a week or even like 1 or 2 a month, these start to add up over time, because the work that you do is really only one time, but these can go on to get traffic, rankings, and sales for a long time. So if you have like an affiliate, promo out there on it, or like an affiliate review or anything like that, you can make money over a long period of time for something that didn't initially take you a ton of time to actually make. So think about that for a bit right there in that your goal isn't necessarily to make like a huge profit from day one, because chances are you probably won't. But over time, I mean, you might get lucky in some cases and get ranked for some really good terms and have some really good affiliate offers that do real well. But your goal shouldn't be to make a ton the very next day or even the very next week. Your goal is to make, again, a reoccurring money and traffic off of just the little work that you do one time right here. So that's the whole purpose and goal of these right here. So what I'll do now is, right before we get to the questions, but you can feel free to ask questions and stuff now, I'll pause the screen as I show inside of Webfire just a couple of the processes of what you should do. So I'm just going to pause the screen for a second, and I'll just pull up Webfire in the meantime. Of course, Sean, if you see any questions in the meantime, you can feel free to take a minute to answer. Otherwise, we'll switch straight to my screen.
Yeah, here's a good question for that Bob was asking that probably maybe a lot of other people have. Bob was asking, well, how does he get Webfire to analyze a specific blog post? And when we're demonstrating the site analysis tool, we tend to just type in a domain name, which means that it's analyzing the home page. But the website analysis tool will analyze any page you put in. So if you put in webfire.com/abc.html, it will analyze that page that it's found at that URL. So for any blog page you have, any blog post, if you type in the specific URL for the blog post, or better yet, copy and paste it in, it will analyze that exact page. So it's not that you can only analyze your home page. It's any page on any domain that you want to analyze, you can use Webfire to analyze. So just put that URL in that you want to analyze, and that's what you'll be able to go and get results for. All right, Brian's in there, so we'll let him go back.
All right. So yeah, one of the first things that you should essentially do is the keyword research before you make the site or anything like that. And with that, let's say you thought, well, gee, I think massage chairs might be a pretty interesting niche. And again, you can come up with any idea that you want. You could even a few things I do. There's like three main things. One, I'll just use common sense. I'll try to take maybe 5 to 10 minutes and just kind of brainstorm some high-end products or stuff out there that I think might fit, and then use it on here and see what shows up. Or I can go to Amazon and just there's categories where you can see what the best sellers are, and try to see, hey, what's either being sold a lot, or what's a high price point then being sold a lot, or you can just look at your own life. Like if there's anything that you buy or that you're interested in, chances are other people are as well, and you can discover these little mini niche subtopics all over. Like for here, for the keyword of massage chair, we scroll down, and this search might take like a couple minutes to actually do, so I just have to save one up here. We see all these different keywords there, and we see a bunch that are like more hard to rank for, like zero gravity massage chair seems like really hard to rank for. Not to say that you can't, because you certainly could try to rank and compete for those terms right there. But the rule of like a mini site is try to make it easy peasy. So don't try to go after the really tough terms or anything like that. Whereas right here we see a lot that are like wide open, like this case, full body massage chair, or recliner massage chair, back massager for chair, and all sorts of good keywords, or iJoy chair, which is probably like a brand right there, which is probably a perfect one to write a review on right there, because no one's really trying to rank for the main term, meaning the review there's probably even less. And again, so pick 5 of these. Here's one, even like luxury massage chair. What's really nice about a term like that is what, guys? Not only is it obviously a massage chair that's probably expensive, but if they say luxury, it's usually implied that it's more expensive, right? So in that case, even though there's only less than 400 exact searches a month, those are 400 people looking for a luxury massage chair, and it's fairly easy to rank for that term right there. So, when you go through, look at essentially the keywords in green, and look at, pick like 5 that you think are relevant towards each other, and that the visitors would be of value. So right here, I might think, well, gee, the iJoy chair, which is probably a brand of massage chair, I'm guessing, doesn't get a ton of searches, less than 1,000 right here, but no one is trying to compete over this term right here. So that might be a good one to write, like, let's say, a review on. And I could target like a term like, iJoy chair review. Because what's cool with that, it contains the keyword I'm trying to rank for, which is iJoy chair, but it also contains another word, iJoy chair review. So I have multiple chances on one page to rank for different terms right there. So I might pick like that one. I might pick the luxury one, because that's, a good indicator that they might pay more. Japanese massage chair I might pick, because that's probably also an indicator that if they're looking for a specific kind, they might be more likely to, spend more. The best massage chair might be another good one right there. Even though there's not a ton of searches, there are people that are clearly possibly looking for, the best of the best right there. And again, just scrolling through here. Here's a good one. Saki massage chair. Again, there's almost 4,500 searches a month. That's probably, that is a specific brand right there. So again, just pick like, 5 of those basically. And like, or like home massage chair, body massager chair, all those right there. Again, just pick 5. You can pick more, so don't feel like, I'm saying, only pick 5. If you want to pick 10 or even 20, that's fine. There's just more content you have to do, because each one you basically pick, you want to write like a separate article for, or a separate blog post on. And then so if we pick a bunch of those, in general, what would the site be on in this case? Well, it would clearly be on probably what? Massage chairs or massage chair reviews, or some term like that. So the second thing that you'd want to do after you pick out like a handful of these is you want to then try to find an available domain name. So in that case, we could go to the keyword domain tool, which I have saved up here. I think it's right here. Yep. And in that case, you can search for any of these if you want, like even like .com.au, and all that stuff right there. But because in this case I'm trying to go for like a global one, I just picked the top 3 right here, or not the top 3, but I picked the 3 common ones that I suggest, which is .com, .net, and .org. There's a couple guys that asked about the .infos. I don't like those because I find they tend to be harder to basically rank. A lot of people like them because there's a lot of sites that basically offer them for like the first year is like $1. In some cases the first year is free on like a .info, and I know it's a cheap option, but Google knows that you're being cheap too. And my theory is that if they're like, well, this is a very weird domain, a lot of serious users don't use it, but a lot of guys that create like junk stuff do. So I try to stay away from those. It's not to say that you can't rank, because I know you can, but it's just, I try to have as many positive factors going for me than trying to make my life more hard. And for the fact that, the difference in price, I mean, a .info might be like $1 the first year, a .com might be like $7 or $8 the first year. I'd rather spend like the $6 or $7 more and have a better chance of basically ranking. And then you can choose if you want to allow dashes or not. My preference is to first look for ones without dashes, but if there's not a lot available, you can certainly do it with. And in this case, well, let's just do a new search here. Let's do it for massage chair. And I could also do like massage chair review, or any term like that. I might need to refresh this page, but we'll see. No, I don't. There we go right there. So right there we see just a bunch of .coms, .nets, and .orgs available right there. So we want to go through, and we see on the far right side, this is the month. This is the exact monthly searches right here for that exact phrase right there. So I mean, we're we're not trying to look for one that's necessarily huge. It does not have to be. But let's look for first a .com without, let's do without the dashes first as the first preference right there. And if not, like here's one, massage chair sale. That gets about 1,300 searches each month. Massage armchair, luxury massage chair with dashes. That's one that, even though I usually don't go for dashes, if you wanted to create like a little site just around, a luxury massage chair and have it be like entirely based around that, like have it be like the main site on luxury massage chairs and then have reviews on all the specific brands of luxury massage chairs, that'd be a pretty cool idea right there, knowing that like all the brands that you have or all the blog posts or web pages that you have were like a review of a top brand massage chair. That'd be the perfect name right there, because you could rank individually for those different brands and those different review terms, and also luxury massage chair by itself. Not a ton of traffic, but not a big deal, because that traffic would be worth a lot more. Here's one without dashes, like body massager chair and stuff like that, gets 1,000 searches a month, so that's not a bad one. Foot massage chair, I'm actually surprised that's actually available, because that got a decent amount of traffic, I think, if memory serves right. So yeah, you get the basic idea. Like look for like one domain to start with. If you want to go like crazy and you want to make like a bunch of them, that's fine. You can also go back and like type in like additional terms, like if you want to do like massage chair reviews or any other kind of keyword that you want. It can sometimes pull up 50 different kinds of keywords and stuff, so you can play around with that. But pick one. In this case, I personally would either go for like luxury massage chair or what was the one? Body massager chair, or you could check to see if body massager chairs or anything like that was also available, which it probably is. You just have to type in that term up there, and any of those are good right there. So you'd pick one, and then you would create your site. Now you can create the site any way you want. Again, it can be in WordPress, it can be Blogger. Inside of Blogger, it's super easy, because again, you can make that in like literally like a couple minutes, and then every page that you write can be a new blog post specifically for that right there. Now, after you do that step right there, after you make the site and after you optimize each site and after you pick, keywords relevant to each of those pages, you can go back and try to add in, graphics or, images. So like if you were writing a review of the iJoy massage chair, you could try to add a graphic of that. If you were, and then you can make sure that the keyword tag was basically optimized for that term, and you'd have even more of a chance of essentially ranking there. And then after you make that site, of course, you could go back to the site analysis tool and use that to basically analyze it to make sure that you didn't miss anything. But 9 times out of 10, if you do what I just said, you'll fall in the range where it's basically analyzed and basically optimized pretty well to start with. Then if you want to go the extra mile, you can go back and use like the lead tools to find places that you can get backlinks and stuff on. You can also, once the site's actually done, you can submit your site. And what's really neat with these is like, there's advanced stuff that you could do to help it rank, but if you just do what I just said right there, in a lot of cases you'll get ranked for those, and over time they can bring in sales and lots of traffic and lots of rankings that can really last a long time without having to do a lot of additional work or anything like that. So that's pretty cool right there. And let's just see if there's any questions in the meantime, and then we can go back to the slides and do the Q&A. But hopefully you guys understand it. If you're confused on anything at all, feel free to ask here. And Sean, feel free to say out loud any of the questions. I know there's a lot of them, but I know you've been answering a lot of them too, as I've been chatting away.
They're all actually pretty much covered, but here's a good question. Alan asked, if you find a domain using this tool, how do you buy it? Go to any registrar. Enum, cheap domains, whatever you want to go to and buy it. That means it's for sale, just in a regular domain registrar.
In fact, Sean, one thing that we should do, because again, you can buy it at like any domain registrar you want. You can buy it at any like web host that you have. We should have a link in there to like a recommended one just for them. Just so like if someone's brand new and has like zero clue on that, we can easily just have like a link up where they can buy one. That's not a bad idea. So make a mental note of that. All right. All right. This person asks, what's the easiest way to help rank client sites? I mean, so if you have, so I think what you're basically asking is, what if they have an existing site and you don't have like, and you can't get a new domain for them or anything like that? Well, the easiest way is to use the website analysis tool and just see where basically the problems and stuff are. And we actually have a lot of prior training on just that. In fact, if we go to, I'll just, if we click on training down here, I'll just kind of show you. But to basically answer you, the main thing that you'll want to do, 9 times out of 10, if you change around like the title tags and make sure that they're basically optimized for the keywords that they have a chance of ranking for, you'll get rankings just based off of that. And then the extra stuff like, optimizing your content, getting backlinks and stuff like that, all that can help as well. But just doing the basics 9 times out of 10 works. But we have entire calls on like the more advanced SEO stuff. So there's also training here. I'll click on like the Wednesday training, and we see any topic with SEO would be good for you in that. Like there's new SEO trend, SEO data talk, SEO myths right here. All those give you lots and lots of training. Oops, didn't mean to open that one. Give you lots and lots of training specifically on SEO. So make sure to check out those if you want more in-depth stuff. But again, usually it's just changing the title tags, making sure you use like the keyword research tool to identify the keywords that they have a chance for ranking for, and then try to basically optimize their site for those, especially having the keywords in the title tags, especially having tags in the images, and also making sure that the keyword that they're trying to rank for is actually mentioned on the site too. There's a lot of sites that try to rank for stuff and never even talk about it. All right. All right. Yeah. Don't worry like too much about which place you buy the domain from, but we'll have the next day we'll try to have a link up in the relevant keyword domain tool where we'll have a recommended one where if you want to get domains through that, but they're all pretty decent right there. All right. And yeah, and guys, like don't overthink, how you make these sites, because you can literally make these in Blogger even. In fact, I can just show you really quick. I'll just pause the screen as I bring up Blogger really quick here. All right. Just need to enter my password and info real quick for that. So just pause the screen for a second as I do that. All right. So, like right here, if you want to make like a new blog, let's say, like this is my demo Blogger account right here. If you want to make it in Blogger, again, you don't have to. This is just for the sake of the demo. Like if we had the luxury massage chair site, I could have a title of luxury massage chairs, or anything like that. I try to make it like a little more appealing. Maybe like the best of the best massage chairs, or anything like that's fine. Then for the address, you'll want to have your own domain name in cases like this, but Blogger allows you to have like a free subdomain. So I can see if that's available, and it is. So that's available right there. You can get ranked with that without an exact match domain, like a subdomain can help, but I feel that it helps a lot more. And then you can pick the template you want. I'll stick with the simple for right now. Then you create the blog, and boom. Then we have a brand new blog right here. And now it says, hey, do you want to have a actual domain name? And in that case, if you were to type in like luxury massage chairs, click search, and you'll see a bunch of them available right there. And in fact, yeah, so skip the really expensive one. So that basically just means that it's previously owned. But you see how it's kind of funny how this one, how luxurymassagechairs.com is being sold for over $3,500. Yet we saw available ones that were very close to that you can grab for essentially free, or not free, but usually like $8 to $10 per year right there. So in that case, Google doesn't have like a good searcher in terms of that. So you have to rely on either our keyword tool to basically type in the phrase that you saw was available here, or you can look down here like this. This isn't bad right here, like luxurymassagingchairs.com or luxurymassagingchair.com. Both those are available, and it looks like they charge you $12 a year. So again, all those are good right there. Then you just click buy, and then you would buy it through there if you want to have it be through Google domains instead of another registrar or anything like that. But I'll skip that for right now because I don't need to buy a domain for the sake of this. Although I really like the luxury massage chair name, and that's one that I probably would actually make a blog on just this. So this is one that I probably would assign to a person to actually have made. So I think that's a really good name right there. And then for the 5 keywords that you picked, in this case, let's say you want to write like reviews of all the different kinds of massage chairs. It doesn't have to be a review affiliate site. It can be anything. But let's say in this it'd be on massage chairs, you can click new. This is to create a new blog post. And then if memory serves, I think one of the keywords that we basically picked was iJoy chair. And that was like probably a brand of one of the massage chairs. So we could do a title of like iJoy chair review. What we thought of this massage chair. So again, make the title essentially appealing, but make sure it contains the keyword you're trying to rank for, which in this case would be iJoy chair, if memory serves. And then we could add like a term like review after, which would give a chance to rank for that as well. And then you basically just would write your piece of content. Now, in this case, usually, so that would show up as essentially your title. If you're writing a review, what tends to work is have like a few lines that's basically like a summary. Like maybe like 2 or 3 lines that basically talks about what the massage chair is, or what the iJoy chair is basically. Then list out the pros and cons, and and keep in mind, like if you want to make it fancy, we can bold some stuff there. We can also put some stuff in bullet points. So we'll put some stuff in bullet points there. And then after you have your pros and cons list, you can have basically a conclusion. So this is where you'd say like, in conclusion, despite a couple cons of this and this, I think that the iJoy chair is a very awesome massage chair, especially for the price and yada, yada, yada. And you just sum up in maybe like 2 or 3 lines what your overall opinion was, because if you just have pros and cons, people still want to hear what you think. And then after that, have a call to action, which usually is like, you know, for instance, it might be like, you know, click here to get the cheapest price on the iJoy massage chair. And then what you'd want to do is on your call to action, you want to highlight that and turn it into an actual link, where you just click link and you turn it into a link and just paste in what would be your affiliate link in that case. And of course, you can also add in graphics. You can click here to add those in. You can add in videos and all the stuff right there. But that's all you have to really do right there. And then you just click publish. Then you'd have your first web page done, and then you'd move on to the next page where you might write a review on another chair. Now again, you don't have to write reviews or anything like that. This is just the example in this case right here. If you want to have it be all about like massage chairs in general, or you know what to look for or not look for, that's fine. If you want it to be about, you know, yard cannons or anything like that, you can. It doesn't have to be, you know, reviews. That's just the first thing that came to mind. But one thing to keep in mind is anytime you write anything, you want to make sure that it's appealing to the actual person reading it. So don't have like tons and tons and tons of pages of basically junk. You know, make sure that it's easy to read. I'm a big fan of like bullet points and stuff like that because you can glance through it really, really quick. I'm also a big fan of having like subtitles that are in bold so you can quickly read and see stuff. And jump to what they want to see. And that's basically that, guys. I mean, this doesn't have to be hard at all. This is all that you have to basically do right now. This is an actual example that this is one that if I were you, I would jump on one like this. And again, I'm not saying everyone should now be, you know, luxury massage chairs, but use the concepts that you learned here and do, you know, this right here. And even doing like once a week, you know, once a week or even once a month, these can really start to add up and be very, very effective. Okay, let's see. All right, so I will go back to the slides now. And Sean, if there's any questions as I switch over, feel free to chime in, of course.
Well, I'm going to let you answer Harmesh's question because it's like 7 paragraphs long.
All right.
I'll let you do that one live in a minute. There's a lot of questions, but let me let you finish up the presentation and we can go back through some of these that people would generally have.
Yeah, so guys, you know, again, that's basically the gist of it right there. And again, not all that hard to do, but just make sure that you follow through and do those simple rules that I laid out right there. Now, having said that too, make sure, while we answer the questions, make sure that if you're not yet a member of our free WebFire Facebook group, that you go there now. It's free to join. Just getwebfire.com/FB group. And if you're not, you know, a member, make sure to join now. And if you are, you know, Sharon posted up a post on this training, and if you leave a comment there, we'll make sure to give some cash away to a random winner in just a few moments right here on this call. So again, just go to getwebfire.com/FB group, and then we'll give some cash away soon right there for anyone that leaves a comment there. And of course, we always appreciate shares and likes and all the stuff right there. But with that, we'll go back to the Q&A. And all right, so I'll read Harmesh's question right here.
And you thought I was exaggerating how long it was.
This is a really long question. So, all right, so it looks like you're asking a question on how to fix a viewport tag. And you said that you wrote support and that they've been very good and that they've said that you need to change the header tag, but you're not sure how to go about this. So, you know, you really have 3 options. One, you know, we have a walkthrough on like the SEO configuration tool. Anything that you have to change on a site, it kind of walks you through how, or will help you actually do so. Or if you have a WordPress site, I'm not sure what site you have. If you have a WordPress site, we have a plugin that can automatically help change that stuff for you. And if you don't have a WordPress site, we have basically an HTML part that kind of walks you through how to change each of that stuff right there. But if you just have to change, a header tag, that's the kind of question that, even though we have like training on how to do all that stuff, if you go to Google and type in how to change a header tag, you can probably find an answer literally in like a minute that will walk you through like exactly, kind of step by step right there. If you have FTP access, that's not hard to even do by hand with that. But the easiest way, I'd say, is that if you really don't want to even touch your site or anything like that, you can go to Fiverr, and for $5, you can get a tech guy to basically change anything that you want. So if you want a tech guy to change, a header around, I would just do that. So I mean, we could turn this into more of like a tech call and go into like the HTML, but it confused everyone, including probably you on that too. But the easiest way is if you have a WordPress site, there's a plugin that you could use that does that stuff for you. If you have a normal HTML site, the SEO configuration tool can kind of walk you through how to change all that. But if you have access to the FTP and have access to the file and you're a bit of a tech guy yourself, you certainly can look up, how to change a header tag, and it will show you exactly how to do just that. Or if you get stuck, again, you can write our support, and they'd be, a better one to ask on how to specifically change like the tech side of stuff on that. But personally, I would just, if you're stuck on a small issue like that, I just go to, Fiverr and have a guy, for $5, fix that for you right there. Unless, Sean, you have anything to add on that right there. But that's
no. Fiverr is the answer. $5, problem solved within 24 hours by someone who can't believe that that you don't know how to do this because he does it 25 times a day, and it's going to take him 3 minutes. But don't worry about the fact he gets $5 for 3 minutes. Just think about how many days you're going to save of wasted time struggling with these little simple things that are very simple when you already know how to do them, and you can solve it for $5.
Yeah, and this helps a lot because he says it actually is a WordPress site. So yeah, if you download the WordPress plugin, you should be fine with that because it actually takes care of a lot of the stuff for you right there. All right, so this person asks here, what is the difference between a multiple pages blog and a website? Well, a blog is a website, so in some cases they might be identical, but not all websites are blogs. So there's not really a major difference. A blog is just basically a platform where you can do a new blog post and it acts like a new web page basically. Whereas in terms of like making like a mini site, it's not really much of a difference. So both can work quite well. If you're more of like my rule of thumb is if you're brand new, make a blog just because they tend to be easier and they're basically just as effective in terms of ranking. If you're more experienced and you want to do just like a standard 5-page site and don't want to mess with a blog, that can work great too, but it's probably not worth the extra effort to make like a normal site over a blog if you're brand new and don't know how to do that. So hopefully that makes sense there, but again, if you're brand new, definitely go with a blog because it's much easier if you use like, Blogger or WordPress and stuff. Okay, let's see here.
You generated a lot of questions today, Brian.
Yeah. So I was just trying to, yeah, and in fact, what I'll do too on a future call too, since we actually just went through and showed like how I could make, like let's say a luxury massage chair site, on a future call, maybe next week or the week after, I'll actually try to make like a simple 5-page massage chair site for you based upon what you just saw on this call. So even though you saw me kind of write like a rough draft what a page will look like, I'll do a prettier up or a prettied up version of just that, so you can see the complete picture of that, mostly because I really like that niche there. So unless like all of you go and basically snatch up all those names right now, in which case I won't do that and I'll do a different one. But yeah. All right, let's see here. All right, and yes, we start at 2 p.m. Eastern time, so if you just jumped on, you would be late, correct? All right, so Terry asked a question right here. He's like, so does a normal so I'll sum up what he's saying right here. He's basically asking, so on a static site or a normal HTML site, you can't do new posts, just pages, and that is correct. So with a static site, there's not like an easy way where you press a button and make a new page. You can add any web pages you want, but you have to have like a website editor or a website maker. But it's not hard. But if you're brand new, I just recommend like something like WordPress or Blogger, just because it's easier to start with. Whereas a blog is usually more dynamic in that you can add additional blog posts at any point in time, and it's as easy as literally clicking new blog post and then making a new blog post, which is treated like a new page. All right, so there's a couple questions if Google prefers blogs over websites, or if they can distinguish them. So they can definitely tell which one's which. I mean, it's no trick or anything. Both of them can rank well. It's one of those things like, it really goes back to if you're brand new, do the blog route. If you're much more experienced and much more of like a tech guy or want to outsource, you can go the website route. There's not a major difference. What I've personally seen is that, websites tend to be like sometimes favored a little bit, and that Google's basically trying to look for, people that aren't trying to make like spammy junk sites, and oftentimes lots of blogs can be more likely to be like spammy junk type sites, but at the same time, if you have quality content and you optimize it well, like I said, it's a moot point basically, and that you'll still you can still get the rankings and all that stuff right there. So don't overthink that. Do whatever is basically easiest for you, and in a lot of cases that will be the blog route. All right. Dale asked another great question right here. He said, for existing sites that are indexed, is it okay to use your submitter, or is that just for a new site? So the site submitter tool should be used anytime that you have a new page or a new blog post or something new. So if you do like a brand new, like let's say you have a blog, okay? And let's say that your blog is indexed, and indexed basically means to check to see if your site is indexed, which means like Google's aware of it. Do a search on Google for your domain name. If it shows up, they basically indexed you. If it does not, it means that they didn't index you. And sometimes if you have a brand new site, it might take a few days to initially show up, so don't get too worried. But if you're indexed, it means that they're basically watching you. And then if they watch you, they can obviously rank you. But anytime you do like a new blog post or a new web page, specifically submit that exact blog post URL or that exact web page URL. That's the much faster way to get them to notice the new content that you have. So anytime you do anything new, you can use the site submitter tool, and that's just a way to speed up them realizing that you have some new content, because it's basically like knocking on their front door and saying, oh, by the way, I just want to tell you I have some new stuff on my site. Please check me out soon, versus just waiting for a bot of theirs to randomly find that. So that can help speed that up. All right, Richard asks here, if you want to accelerate sales and leads, what is the best tool to use? So if you want to accelerate yourself getting like sales and leads, like let's say for the massage chair example, you can build that site, and that's all fine, but if you want to really accelerate it, you can find leads of people that are talking about, massage chairs and asking questions on them. Like you can use the real-time lead finder to find guys asking questions on it and basically answer them. You can find the rank lead finder to find guys that are basically talking about it that are currently ranked on page 1 that you can get free exposure on. You can use the Q&A tool to find people also asking questions that can get ranked well, and you can answer them. You can also use like the tweet lead finder to find guys asking that stuff on Twitter and stuff. And again, you can go straight to them instead of waiting for them to find you. So if you proactively want to go out there and accelerate your sales and leads and traffic, that's a good way to go about that right there. And that especially works well if you're selling, or even if you're like an affiliate of a product that you make a healthy chunk of change from. So yeah, because that's more worth your time then. All right, this person asked here, would you recommend, so would you recommend having niche sites or review sites, or would it be okay to have a general site? Okay, so I think what you're trying to say is would you recommend having like niched sites or a general review type site? So if you have a site on, both can work, but usually, you want to be somewhat basically related. So if you have like a, a review site on electronics, try to make sure that the products that you review are all electronic related. Or if you have a site on massage chairs, make sure that it's all related to massage chairs. You can sometimes get away with like a general review site where you review like anything and everything. That's all fine at times, but it tends to be harder to like initially get ranked because like Google has to like initially trust that they know what your site is, and if everything about you is like massage chairs, they say, oh, well, this is clearly a massage chair site. Whereas if your site has like a review on a massage chair followed by a post on some music, followed by like what your thoughts were on the latest Game of Thrones show, they're like, gee, well, I'm not quite sure what this is, so this might be like some small random site. I'm not sure if I should rank it. So, I mean, you just have to build more of the trust up. So I tend to lean towards having like more of a niche site. But there are always exceptions to that, of course. Okay. And yes, you can certainly turn any of your posts or your reviews or anything like that into a video. So that's perfectly fine and recommended, and one of the options I actually mentioned too to kind of go the extra mile. All right, and yes, I'm saying, so this person said if you have 5 keywords, should I have 5 pages? Yeah, so ideally, there are exceptions to this right there, but my rule of thumb is like, for every keyword, try to target it on a separate blog post or a separate page, because that gives you more of a chance to really optimize that page for that specific word and give you more of a chance to actually rank for that. All right. And George, just make sure that you're, oh wait, no, not George, Gary, make sure that you're actually connected so that the first time that you use TweetLead Finder, it will ask you to basically connect it to your account there. It takes like less than like a minute, so make sure to do that, and then you should be fine there. All right. All right, Sean, I think, oh wait, here's a question. All right, so this person said, ranking for a keyword, can I add 5 related videos or 1? I mean, you can do as many as you want. Like I'm not saying only do 1 page per keyword. Like if you want to go all out and do a bunch of them, that's fine. It's kind of like saying, should you get like your, kids or relative, like let's say a Christmas gift on Christmas. Yeah, you probably should. But if you want to get them like 5 or 10, they probably appreciate that even more. But it doesn't mean like you have to.
Right, and think of us as your kids at Christmas.
Exactly. So like if you want to send us each like 5 or 10 gifts, I mean, the more the better. That's always good. Yeah. So we're leaving these. Okay. So the question here, he said, can we post related videos made by other people? So if you want to post them up like within your blog post, that's fine as long as it's relevant. Like make sure the content is of value. But if you post it up on YouTube, I tend to prefer that you basically have your own content in that case just to stay safe and have new stuff out there. But you certainly can post like existing videos on your own site, but make sure if you're trying to rank, have actual content there too. So have like unique content of your own talking about that stuff too. All right. All right, I think we answered all the questions. If I accidentally missed a question, feel free to re-ask that, because I see there's a ton of questions. I know Sean and Sharon were answering a bunch of them while I was chatting away. All right, another question here. All right, so Nelson says, the home page of my blog has a one-paragraph description each with a read more button for 9 articles that range from 800 to 2,000 words. Does this count as 9 pages? So, without seeing your site, I couldn't say, but I'm like 99% sure that in your case the answer would be yes, that would count as 9 pages, because there's a lot of blog formats that will have like a summary on like the main page. It'll have like, I think you're basically saying it'll have like a paragraph or a few lines that will have like a preview, and then you click read more, and then it goes straight to that blog post itself. So anytime you click read more, it should go to the new blog post, and that, in your case, would be a new page. So you want to make sure that each of those pages are basically optimized for what you're trying to rank for. And most blog templates that show a preview are basically set up that way, so you should be fine. All right. And I might be saying your name wrong, but Wineend, yes, I believe Sean will be there. He's asking if he'll be in place on October 23rd.
Yes.
Yes. So this person asked, how does Webfire turn an article into a video? All right, so all you have to do, David, is if you go to the Video Firestorm, you can literally like copy and paste in an article if you want, and it will basically turn that into a video for you that you can then basically edit any way that you want. And I can, on one of the future calls, we can focus more on videos, and I can go through an actual example, with all that right there, and we'll have a call on video marketing and some tricks and stuff with that, because that sounds like a pretty good idea, because we haven't talked about videos in a while. I mean, we have in the past, but it's been a while since we've gone too in depth with them. All right. This person asked, what was the tweet then that I mentioned? Is Tweet Lead Finder is inside of Webfire under the Social Tool tab. All right. And yes, the website analysis can be exported as a PDF. We can see, this person's asking if we can export it as a Word doc. I'll check with the guys and see. Right now we allow it to export as a PDF, and there's tools that allow you to turn like a PDF into Word, but I'll see how hard it might be to make that into Word, if that's not there now. All right, this person says, do you want no follow check when putting photos on Blogger? I wouldn't worry too much about that. If you want to on your own site, sure, that sometimes cuts back on a couple guys that are trying to spam you and stuff. All right. All right, yeah, so it looks like there's a couple of you saying that you'd love a video training call on that. So yeah, I'll have a future call on video training, and we'll also have one on where I'll show off the site that I'll make based on what we saw here on this call too. Okay. Okay. Gareth asked if we know of anything to help him manage a Facebook book account of his. I mean, you can use, so we have We have Social Poster inside of WebFire, which basically helps you like manage accounts and stuff. So you can basically post on autopilot. And there's also a plugin available for that too, which is free and included, which can turn any new blog post you have into a Facebook and Twitter post as well. But you can also schedule out any post that you want, so you can kind of manage accounts on autopilot that way too. All right. Winnin said that he's trying to trace where the money is. I'm not sure what your question is, so feel free to clarify that, and I'd be happy to answer you. All right, so with that, guys, should we do, Sean, the cash giveaway now?
Yes, let's give away money.
Okay, or should we just keep it? I can keep it as an...
Well, you're asking the wrong guy.
I'll just, keep it as an early birthday gift to myself. All right.
Now that you're so old, when you get over 30, that's when you're old.
I've already reached that, so.
I know that happened years ago. I felt so bad for you when you went over the hill.
All right, so with that, guys, what we'll do for the cash giveaway right here, if you're not already in the Facebook group, go to getwebfire.com/FB group, and Sharon has a post up there asking what you thought of today's training. And if you leave a comment there, we'll pick a random person within a couple minutes here, and we'll award a person $100 cash on the spot over PayPal. So again, just go to getwebfire.com/FB group, and we'll pick that random winner in just a couple minutes right there. And of course, feel free to share and like all that as well right there. All right. So this person asks, is Sean dialing in by phone or via computer and headset? I don't know, Sean. What are you doing?
I'm actually via phone. It's much easier because then I can pace.
Yeah, I'm through the actual laptop, but yeah, so what we'll do now is I will go to the Facebook page, and we can give some cash away. And Sean, in the meantime, if there's any questions that pop up, feel free to answer those as I pull up the page here, trying to multitask.
I think we got everybody answered, but we'll see if anybody, now that you suggested them to type in yet more questions. It's hundreds of people against the two of us.
Yeah, always fun. All right, it's pulling up. I'm just going to refresh the page in WebFire to do... All right. All right, so here is the page. So again, it's just getwebfire.com/FB group. And just here's the post from Sharon right there. You can just do a comment under that. There's a few of you that left a comment outside of that, and that's okay too. I was just right there, and I'll just see there's lots of comments right now. So I'll give it maybe another 15 seconds, and then we'll pick a winner.
Good. While you're doing that, there's somebody had a question earlier. Hang on, I'm trying to find it now. So they had a question. They were doing a locally related search in Twitter, and they wanted to know how to make sure that the results they were getting were actually locally related to them. And I wasn't sure actually how you would know that. I mean, the way you use Tweet Lead Finder, guys, is you can make it local by putting in a location and a radius from that dot on the map essentially that you want to search. But I wasn't sure if you wanted to verify that, how you could actually verify that the Twitter results and accounts you're getting are local to you.
Sure. So what you basically do, just to make sure, let me just gonna pause the screen as I refresh the page real quick, just to make sure that they know exactly how to do it right here. So right here, here's the Tweet Lead Finder, and we're basically under keywords and settings right now, and I'm basically under one of the categories right here. And if you want local, you scroll down here and you click on search by location. Then you basically enter the longitude and latitude. If you don't know what that is, because you probably don't, you just click right here and you get the exact longitude and latitude of any place in the world, and you just would paste that in right there. That's just how essentially Twitter works with that. And then you pick the distance that you want, like right there. And then all those should be within basically the distance and be entirely accurate as to if they're local or not right there. So if you do this right, you should be perfectly fine there. I mean, I'm sure if you want to, like if you're, let's say if you're paranoid and you just want to make absolutely sure, you could check like a couple of them and just see if they mention anything locally or anything like that. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure if the profiles offhand would say the location in all the cases, but if you do that down there, you'd be fine. In all cases, would only find tweets that are within whatever range you want right there. So that's how you do that. All right, so time to give away cash, Sean. So I'm going to refresh this. And we have 38 comments there plus 1, 2. All right. There's some that accidentally commented on the wrong one. That's fine too. All right, so we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 plus 38, that would be 46. All right, so I'll go to random, and I'll do 1, 2, 46. Hopefully it's at the start or the end to save some time. And did it not click? Why is it not clicking? Oh. So, you see that? 25? I think I clicked twice by accident. But 25 right there, so go back to this right here. 25. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is Chris. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25 is Gary Monteith, the Minion. All right, if that is you, and it looks like you might be even local to you, if Atlanta Social's a workplace there. But if that is you, Gary Monteith, you are $100 richer, so just make sure to post up your PayPal info, and Sharon will make sure to PayPal you that this afternoon. So just post that up in the chat box, and she'll send that over to you this afternoon. So again, Gary Monteith, congratulations, you just won $100. So again, thanks to all of you that have done, that have done posts and comments here. We always appreciate that, and we hope that you get value out of that too. And hopefully some of you will actually take the lessons that you learned on this call right here and actually apply and actually make kind of a mini site of your own. Because I think it's very easy to get ranked fast, very easy to get results fast when you follow through and all that right there. So with that, guys, Sean, unless there's anything else you want to add in real quick.
No, congratulations to Gary, and guys, take action, tell us great results, and we'll see what's going on. Thanks.
All right, so thanks again, and Gary, congrats again. Oh, it looks like he was actually at the conference too that we had in Atlanta. So
you don't remember Gary? Gary's the good-looking guy.
Okay. So yeah. So again, your $100, Richard, right there. Just post up your PayPal info, and Sharon will make sure to get that over to you, or just write.
He posted it, Brian.
Okay, you got that. All right, cool. All right, guys, and with that, we look forward to seeing you on next week's call, again, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, if there's any questions that were accidentally missed or any questions that pop up later, I think we answered all of them, but if anything pops up later, you can always write support@webfire.com. So thanks much, guys, and talk to you next week. Take care.